Welcome to another 21 Hats Dashboard, brought to you by our sponsor, The Great Game of Business. I'm Loren Feldman, and I'm here with Gene Marks to talk about the things we think business owners should be following this week. Welcome, Gene.
Hey, Loren. So The Great Game of Business still sponsoring you, huh? That's got to mean something.
You've been away for a while, Gene. I've missed you, but it hasn't been that long. Yes, they're still sponsoring me.
That says a lot. These people like you, and they're enjoying the experience. And I think if any other potential sponsors are listening to this, Loren, right? If it's good enough for the Great Game,
Gene,
good enough for anybody.
You're a good guy.
There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know the Great Game folks appreciate that too.
Good.
Gene, you're always writing and talking about stuff that matters to business owners. I want to start today with a piece you wrote about what you called the next phase of remote work. Let me quote you.
Yes.
A great many employers have recognized that allowing their employees to work from home 1 or 2 days a week can be an enticing perk to offer in these times of tight labor. They understand that their workers have personal commitments, families, and dependents, and they want to help accommodate them by adopting a more flexible work schedule. And what do they get in return? More loyalty? Praise from their employees? Gratitude? Nope. Instead, they get the TWATS,
yes,
parentheses, shorthand for workers who are in the office only on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tell me what you're referring to there, Gene.
So first of all, if you're in England, you're calling them twats. And if you're in the U.S., you're calling them twats. And I know, because I know you've got a dirty mind, what you think of
now,
first.
Gene, this is a family-friendly podcast.
Right.
I was just quoting you.
So I looked it up on both Merriam-Webster and the Encyclopedia Britannica. And although the profane definition is among the top three, really it's the first definition of a twat or a twat is usually you can look at it, an idiot basically is what it is. And I think that is where a lot of employees that think they're getting away with something aren't really getting away with anything. It's a process, this whole work from home thing. Let's face it, the workplace is not going to change. People are lamenting that like office buildings are half empty, and they are in Philly where I live. But Loren, I mean, like that, the world has changed. The workplace is such that most good employers, most people who know what they're doing, are offering some type of work from home, remote working arrangement. And usually it's like a hybrid type of arrangement. I get that, and it makes sense. What doesn't make sense to employers, because I'm not talking about it yet, but this is what's coming, is that when we offer those hybrid arrangements, you can work from home 2 days a week and be in the office 3 days a week. Which 2 days does everybody choose, Loren? They choose Monday and Friday. Oh, what a coincidence. Well, we're not going to come and we're just going to take Monday and Friday off. Those are our 2 days, right? And come on, if you're an employee, you don't think that employers don't know why you choose to work on a Monday and a Friday? The real reason is that you are probably not working as hard as you would be if you were working on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because you're either recovering from a hangover, or you are kicking off your weekend a little bit early, or you decide to sleep in a little bit after a long weekend away. Whatever the case is, it ain't the same kind of a work day if you're working from home on a Monday or a Friday. Now, there are some people say that, no, I work very hard on Mondays and Fridays. That's not me. All right, there's always exceptions to the rule. But what I'm seeing among my clients and what I can tell from the readers and the people that I talk to in the business world is that they're wise to you if you're an employee and you're only working home Monday and Friday, and that's going to change. It's going to change, Loren. The work from home thing is not going to go away. I think employers will still continue to offer, work from home because it's in their best interest to do it. But just watch this whole Monday and Friday bullshit. That's going to go away. It is going to be a requirement that you're in the office on days other than those 2 days. That's what the piece was all about.
Gene, hearing you say that, I don't think anyone would ever guess that you yourself run a fully remote company.
Fully remote, yeah.
Are you experiencing this problem yourself?
No, I mean, I don't.
Because you never have anybody in the office. So your people are all are definitely working at home on Mondays and Fridays. Do you see a productivity problem with that?
No, because I don't really measure it, and I leave it up to my employees to determine whether or not they're getting their jobs done. I really don't care if my people work at 3 a.m. or 3 in the afternoon, whether they're working on it on a Monday or they're not working at all. As long as our clients are happy and our clients and the work is getting done and the jobs are finished, that's all I really care about. That's the nature of my business. But many other businesses, that's not necessarily the nature. They have employees that are doing very routine overhead type of work every day, customer service work, marketing work, maybe even work in sales, administration, finance, accounting. These are the kinds of things that are just this repetitive, work where you need to be at work during the day to be as productive as possible. So, and a lot of these employees, they haven't been working remotely like my employees have been for the past 10 to 20 years in some cases. This is a new thing for those employees. So now they're, oh, wow, we get to work from home now. This is great. So I'm going to choose Monday and Friday to work from home because why not?
Do you have any suggestions for employers who share your concern about this?
Yeah. I mean, don't have your employees work from home on Mondays and Fridays. I mean, if you're going to offer 3 days in the office, make sure that one of those days in the office is a Monday or a Friday. That's my suggestion.
And do you see your clients trying that? Is it working?
So what my clients are dealing with right now is backlash from employees who want to work from home all the time because they were loving it so much because of COVID. And anybody that runs a business knows, and I can be the first person to attest to this, that companies are more innovative and better and have a better culture when employees are actually coming into the office, because my company doesn't have that, and we suffer greatly from that. So, because employers know this, they've got to tread lightly. We're still in an era of tight labor. So I think a lot of employers are, they don't want to rock the boat too much, which is why I think it's going to be the next phase of remote working. Loren, I think it's just the next battle isn't going to be over remote working. It's going to be, a battle over when that remote work is taking place.
Gene, you said that your company has suffered greatly from working full-time remote.
Yes.
What keeps you from opening an office? Is it the expense of the office?
I had an office with my dad up until 2005, and nobody came to the office. It was because everybody's a client,
Because that's a function of the type of business you run. People are out dealing with clients.
Correct. It's just a function of the type of business that I run. And looking back on it, if I could have done it differently, I could have required people to come in the office at the very least. But this was back in the early 2000s when there really wasn't, things were like on dial-up and ISDN lines. You know what I mean? It wasn't as easy to work, remotely for clients. And back at that time, clients really wanted to see people there face to face, So sure. That was just the culture at the time. Now our clients don't even want to see us anymore. They would rather that we work remotely. But the die is cast. I can't just say like, hey guys, I know you've been working remotely all these years. Now I'm going to have to come into that would not fly very well. So I'm just a product of the situation.
I can understand that. Have you found any strategies to help you get people connected so that you do have a little bit of that?
Tried it all. I have tried it all. We've tried Zoom happy hours. We've tried face-to-face events. I was doing for a number of years Christmas parties. Loren, we would have a Christmas party where I would have, my 10 employees, maybe another 10 of our frequent contractors show up. Nobody even knew who everybody was. You know what I mean? Like, they talk on the phone, but they didn't even recognize. It was just very awkward because they don't spend any face time with each other, Right. And it's just kind of the culture. I mean, I sell the company on its remote work culture, the fully virtual culture, and that's what it's attracted those people, the type of people that I've attracted. So that, if I were to say like, hey, we're going to have a night where we're going to get together and throw axes, somewhere, I would get pushback. People wouldn't show up because they're like, hey man, I didn't sign up for this. Having said that though, I do have to say, I have one guy that I hired about a year and a half ago. He's a young guy. He's like 30 years old as a project manager, and he's great. And he's lamented to me that he wish we had more FaceTime with other people in the company. And I'm concerned I'm going to lose him because of that.
Interesting. All right, next topic. You recently wrote that artificial intelligence has an Achilles heel that no one's talking about. What were you referring to? So
I am, I do a lot of speaking, and so I'm going to be speaking a lot this fall. And there's been a demand for people to talk about AI, and because I write about it a lot for Forbes now, I've been, I'm excited to talk to a lot of groups about AI. But I got to be clear about AI. I know we hear about AI this and AI that. And if you're a tech company, you got to have AI in your name. And, it's like the buzzword. It's like crack for anybody that's in the technology industry. Got to be AI, 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 even if people don't even know what it is. But here's the thing about AI, Loren, right? This artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is it basically software algorithms that are making decisions and taking actions. Okay. This is different than workflow before, where something gets triggered, like a field changes, from A to B, and then, an email gets sent. AI is where it's actually looking at information or listening to information, and then based on that information, able to parse it, understand it, and then do something with it. That's what AI is, which is great. But it's all dependent on the information, Like if your data is shit, your AI is not going to work.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. So, and just about every client that I go to across the board, small and big clients, and I mean big clients, that you ask their people, they will tell you their data is shit. There is different levels of accuracy and completeness in your database, but nobody says like, oh, my database is fantastic. It's completely, complete and accurate and completely reliable. Most people realize that their data is not up to snuff. And I think that's a huge Achilles heel for AI, because you're not going to have automation running off of bad data. I mean, for God's sake, you don't want it making decisions and contacting customers, or prospects based on data that's bad.
Gene, I think we should clarify there are different types of data that people are referring to with AI. So, like with ChatGPT, it's scraping the entire internet for data. When you wrote about this, you were referring to AI's use, I think specifically
internally.
In the use of, and specifically CRM services, where the AI is using your own data, what you know about your clients.
But Loren, that is what is happening right now. I mean, Microsoft, which pretty much owns, OpenAI and ChatGPT, is rolling out new features and functionalities with Office and Teams that's going to be leveraging an organization's data to provide automation. And Google is doing the same thing with Bard, and every other large technology service provider, from Sage and SAP and Oracle and Epicor, all these people, Salesforce. That's where the business use is. I mean, like right now, ChatGPT is what you can ask it to, do a recipe for something or to write an email.
Or,
I mean, these are
to write a marketing plan or to write a blog post. People are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, but look at right now. Look at the accuracy of even ChatGPT right now in the data it's scraping. I mean, wasn't there a lawyer last month?
Yes,
right.
Fictional cases that did not actually exist.
Relying on it for whatever. That's a perfect example.
I think some people are using it as a first draft, but you still need human eyes to review.
And in all of these cases, like you said, hey, to put together a marketing plan or to write a blog or an email. Okay, so it's going to do that, and then you're going to look at it, and somebody's got to review it, and whatever. Okay, fine. But the real power of AI will be not GPT, but something called auto GPT, which means that it will look at something based on instructions. It will then create some type of communication, and then it will send that communication without humans being involved until humans need to be involved. And there's no way my clients are gonna really leverage the power of AI until their data is in good enough shape to do that.
Well, let's talk about that. Why is the data in these CRM services so bad?
Well, it's not just CRM. I mean, it's data in accounting systems, data in HR platforms. I mean, people don't update information. People leave some fields filled in and some fields don't get filled in.
Is that why I still get a birthday email from a dental practice that I haven't seen in 10 years?
Exactly right. Or, why my mom is getting emails from, or my grandmother was getting emails from, her accountant, 5 years after she died. You know what I mean? Like these are, Like
it's nice to be remembered.
Yeah. I mean, these things, and people are very sensitive to even if their name is misspelled or if it's not the right name, let alone actual facts about their situation. So, unless you're really, keeping that.
But isn't that a problem, even irrespective of AI?
It is.
That you have.
Yeah, you just mentioned it. You just said you're getting emails from your dentist 10 years after, you stopped using them. So yeah, it's a problem. So, if we're going to be relying on all of this automation, it's going to be using this problematic data that continues to be problematic. So there's a lot of, people say like, okay, so if you, again, like I said, if you ask anybody, they're like, yeah, we admit our data is not 100%. It's not even near it. What do we do? Well, there's two things. One you can do internally, and one, hopefully, the AI providers will be doing. What you're doing internally is you need to have internal controls to make sure that your database is updated. In other words, you have fields that are required for data entry on every screen before somebody can move on. And you have drop-down lists where they can't freeform. They have to choose from a specific list of options that goes in there. And you have alerts that tell your database administrator when maybe a field is empty or a field hasn't been updated in a period of time. Those are just a few examples, and I've got more of like sort of internal controls you can do to tighten up your database. That's one. Then the AI providers, they've got a responsibility, and hopefully they'll be doing this, is that they'll be double checking your own data. So if you're going to send an email out to Loren at 21 Hats, and you've got an email address in your database, AI will hopefully, the software providers will hopefully become intelligent enough to say, he's trying to send an email to Loren at 21 Hats. This is the email address. Let's look at this external source of data, some web, whatever, to verify before we send out that email so that it's not going to the wrong person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we got a ways to go before we get to that point, as you can tell, which is why I think a lot of companies are going to be very hesitant to really go all in on AI until some of these issues are addressed.
I just wonder about it even, again, without getting to AI, how big a problem do you think it is for companies that they have bad data, whatever the platform is that they're using? It seems, they're probably investing a lot of money in it. It seems like an issue today, let alone before, when AI comes along.
There is it's a big problem. And again, this is not a small business problem. There's a big business problem. I deal with some larger clients. You ask them about their database and who they have, and it is, it's a mess. It's a mess. And it's a resource issue because people are getting data submitted from online all the time. I mean, look at Twitter as a perfect example, or Threads even. I'll have the same issue with the problem with bots, and fake users. Even people that are posting things that they shouldn't be posting. This is all data issues that even the largest companies that it's their business model have a really hard time grappling with. Other companies, marketing is in a silo, and you collect your data in one way and you only have so many resources to be able to deal with that data. And, I don't think it gets the attention that it deserves.
All right, last topic. You wrote another piece about the recent Supreme Court decision finding that a web designer doesn't have to create a website for a same-sex wedding. The ruling seems to open the door to businesses feeling free to discriminate against any group of people they choose to discriminate against, but you suggest they think twice about that. Explain.
Yes, listener, if you're listening to Loren, he said safe sex wedding, and I think he meant to say same sex wedding.
I said same, I think.
I thought it sounded like safe, but you know what? Regardless.
But both are important, Gene.
Yes, I appreciate you taking caution either way, Loren. So, to me, if a business is operating within the law, fine, right? So if you choose to discriminate against somebody, because you can't discriminate because of the color of their skin. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 saw to that. But if you discriminate based on religious preferences, based on sexual orientation, based on political parties, you don't want to serve a Trump supporter, the Supreme Court with this ruling has now allowed you to do this. So, hey man, have at it. Go for it. I think you're insane for doing that. I think when, people say like, I don't know many small businesses, Loren, that are doing so fabulous that they can afford to turn away business, So, you're going to turn away, like you're not doing, a same-sex wedding website because it's against your religious principles. Okay, well, I hope you have a lot of money in the bank. And I hope you can withstand
we should probably point out in this case, the person who filed that lawsuit doesn't even have a business doing these websites yet.
Yeah.
And there wasn't an actual client that was turned away. But
fair enough. But there are plenty of businesses that do this, and we've read the stories of the bakers
right.
and and the other, they won't do the wedding cake for the same sex, the same sex couple. I mean, these people are not only are they getting bad PR because it's you and I are talking about it, like people cover this stuff all the time, and your business gets drawn into this, and you get obliterated for doing this on social media. Then you turn off their community. I mean, my daughter's gay. I mean, if she was going to get married to her girlfriend and gets turned down for for a wedding cake or whatever, I can guarantee you that none of her friends are ever going to go to that place ever again. She'd be pretty pissed off, So if you want to piss people off and you want to, alienate a portion of your customers, hey, like I said, have at it. I hope you understand all of this. And the other thing that I also have to make sure that I'm clear is that, when you run a business, it's not about you. I mean, if you're running a bakery, I'm assuming you've got employees, you've got other customers, you've got partners, you've got suppliers and vendors. You've got people that rely on you to be in business because they're making their livelihoods off of you. So when you just make a decision to exclude a significant or any portion of your customer community, and that hurts your business financially, it hurts others that are relying on your business. It's just not about you. And that's the reason why, you don't see Microsoft not selling Office to somebody who's gay, or Staples not selling, printers to people, of some religion or political party. I mean, even Chick-fil-A, as we know, the owner of that company or the CEO is a right of center person and has their religious beliefs, but they'll sell their spicy chicken sandwich to anybody who's got the $5 to pay for it. They're not going to discriminate. They get it. They got shareholders, So I'm just saying the point of the column is all right, go ahead and discriminate if you want to do that. It's as long as you're within the law, the Supreme Court is allowing it, but do so at your own peril, man. Cause you're going to make life a lot harder for yourself as a business owner. That's my feeling.
All right, Gene, what are you working on? Anything we should be watching for this week?
Well, just this past week, the SBA is giving loans to some Philadelphia businesses because of that I-95 collapse.
Yes.
Which, how awesome was our governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro, just jumping on that and getting it. It was just awesome. But anyway.
It was supposed to take months, and they fixed it in weeks.
Crushed it. And he made one big mistake. He set up a webcam so you could watch it in real time, and he didn't sell ads on the webcam. That would have paid for the whole thing. I forgot
to tune in somehow, Gene. Was it exciting watching?
It was super popular. It was really popular. But anyway, so some people are getting SBA loans, disaster loans, and it spurred me to write for the Inquirer this week. I'm working on a column now about other SBA loans, because there are plenty of SBA has a lot of capital available, particularly these tight times, and I just think people need to be reminded about that. So I have that, and I'm going to write on Entrepreneur. I'm going to revisit health reimbursement accounts as well. So all of that's coming.
We will watch for that. Sounds great. Gene Marks is a CPA who writes weekly on small business for The Guardian, The Hill, The Philadelphia Inquirer, The Washington Times, The Chicago Daily Herald, Forbes, and Entrepreneur. You can also hear him on ABC Radio's Eye on the World with John Batchelor. Gene hosts 2 small business podcasts with Paychex Corporation and The Hartford. This episode was brought to you by The Great Game of Business, which helps businesses. The Great Game of Business helps businesses use an open book management system to help build healthier companies. You can learn more at greatgame.com. Thank you, Gene.
Thanks, Loren. See you soon.
Have a great week, everyone.